The Gallows was terrible. Just, let's get this over and done with. So this review will hopefully be a little bit shorter than the last couple. I'm in the middle of a massive review of the film Lights Out, and I've basically filmed my own short film around it. So just bear with me on that, it'll be out soon, and there's a couple of other things in the works. So this is another one of those films with an overly complicated plot and characters that are basically subhuman, and this trend in horror writing really needs to die. This film, believe it or not, took 4 years to film. I wouldn't have been surprised if it had been filmed in 2.5 days. One of the directors in an interview talks about getting caught up in a Ponzi scheme and losing all of his money to it so that he couldn't fund the film.
I had been the victim of a Ponzi scheme in 2007.
So the film starts with footage of a kid who dies by being hung in a play called The Gallows. I think I have an idea of what went wrong. You built an actual fucking trapdoor on your gallows. Like, if it's just a prop and it clearly wasn't meant to open because the guy actually fucking died when it did, then the audience wouldn't have seen it if you didn't build the trapdoor into it. So it was completely unnecessary. Movie over. Like, this shouldn't have even been a movie. So this kid dies, gets hung in front of all of these school families, and people freak out.
Oh my god.
And the camera somehow trips out as if it knew that something bad was happening in front of it. So cut to the same school 23 years later, they're doing a repeat of The Gallows, which seems kind of fucked up and really insulting, and totally not what would happen. Also, their prop gallows has a real fucking trapdoor on it again. They did not learn their lesson, apparently. Oh wait, they did have one line of exposition about having a hard time getting the idea past the school board, so never mind.
Not always easy, right, Pfeiffer? Especially not with the school board, but we got through that. But,
I can only imagine that the school board stipulations were, make sure there's every chance that this will happen again by including another fucking trapdoor. Colloquial sayings about the kid that got hanged 23 years ago still circulate the school, apparently, when none of the current students were at the school when Charlie died.
Like, you're choking worse than Charlie did. Everybody knows he's gonna choke like Charlie did. Oh, I'm Charlie. I'm dead. Oh.
And our main protagonist goes around filming himself being a massive douchebag to everyone. Seriously, the whole start of this film is this guy filming himself calling people fat, gay, verbally abusing his girlfriend, throwing shit at people, calling people ugly, and generally being just a massive dick.
You know, little booby holes in there.
And apparently this is a popular kid as well. So this other guy, Reese, is in the school play and he has a crush on the lead actress. So the dude with the camera goes straight up to her and tells her that Reese likes her, ruining any chance he had with her. The only reason he was trying acting in the first place and grueling through rehearsals was that he had a crush on this girl. Then the douchebag guy with the camera convinces Reese that he sucks so much at acting that they should sneak into the school after it's closed and smash the set. So they do that, and their idea was basically to push the plants over. Lucky this school is for people who can't bend over, or else that would have been basically pointless. So they established in the beginning that the guy was filming as a part of a drama class for like a compilation of the play, sort of behind the scenes thing. Even though in an interview that I watched, the fucking actor playing the protagonist doing this had no idea that that's what he was doing.
And I've been put in to the project The Gallows as like an extracurricular, or is it like...
But you'd think that responsibility would have ended before he discussed smashing up props on camera and then actually going to the school and doing it on camera. Also, why the fuck didn't the other character suggest maybe don't film us smashing up the school? Because people already know Ryan hates theater, has a vendetta against the theater kids for pulling a prank on him, and discovered in front of everyone a door that doesn't lock in the school the day of everything getting smashed up. So the lead of the play, Pfeiffer, is already in the school when they get there. So they have stupid, useless dialogue, and then doors start locking so they can't get out of the school, and then they have more useless, awkward dialogue.
You guys are gonna get lit up, not me. Ryan, let's go.
Cassidy, we're trying to go.
Let's just get out, okay? Yeah, I want to get out of here. Thank you, Five. Do you, Ryan?
So I was wondering what the hell was going on with the script, and I realized that there basically wasn't a script written for this film.
Because you didn't really walk in with a script of any kind, right?
Well, no. Let's see
You
what's
never
happening.
had like a script in front of you to like mark up.
The directors just wanted a bunch of new actors to do whatever they wanted on screen. That seems like a recipe for good entertainment. Surprisingly as it may be to you, it didn't work in their favor once in the entire fucking film. Like here when Cassidy doesn't answer Ryan and just stares at him awkwardly.
Stop being dumb.
I'm not being dumb. If you want to leave, go outside, call Chelsea, have her come get you, and you can leave. But I'm staying.
And like here when Ryan says, your mom.
Trying to defend your little
Yeah,
drama
well,
buddies?
your mom.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
And then Ryan's improv lines were just him being an over-the-top jerk. He was just a dick to his girlfriend the entire film for no discernible reason. It feels like this guy was just told, alright, well, your character's a bit of a jock and he's a bit of a dick. Just be the most exaggerated version of both of those things for the entire film at the expense of other actors getting to do cool shit because you just yell at them and say snidey shit and generally dominate the scenes.
Bitch, are you kidding? If I had known there, what? If I had known there was drama requirement, I would have.
I love it. I mean, I get to hang out with the most unattractive girls.
Like in an interview, Cassidy, who's Ryan's partner, said, "You were just a dick to me the whole film."
And I feel like I'm more so to introduce myself as just Ryan's girlfriend in it to start, because he just treats me like trash. Yes, he does.
All of it a loving story.
Yeah.
And of course, because there was no subplot of them like breaking up or whatever, she just had to cop all of the hate like it was just normal, and she came across as having really conflicting personality traits. Like, she was smashing bottles and being really assertive, because I think that's her natural personality as an actor.
Here, thank you, Five. Do you, Ryan?
Yes,
You still
I
want to
want
finish
to
the job?
go.
You still want to finish the job? You want to finish it? Finish what?
And then also, she just was a pushover because she had to take all of her boyfriend's shit.
What time?
You're not coming, Cassidy.
Yes, I'm coming.
No, you're not. You're a cheerleader.
Because they had marks they had to hit in the scenes, but without lines to get them to those marks. It was just so shit. So shit. Because in an interview, Cassidy actually mentions that she's the complete opposite of her character.
I hope it's the complete opposite of me in real life, but I also will do whatever Ryan says. He snaps his fingers and I'm there. Again, I hope I'm not like that in real life.
Even though the directors seem to think that all of the characters were mostly influenced by the real personality traits of the actors that played them.
I think they brought a lot of who they were, and we wanted that, but they tried to keep it very realistic in terms of their natural, personas and personality.
So Ryan tries to get out of vent, and a ladder falls down, and he breaks his leg really badly, but he must have a high pain tolerance because in the next scene it was like nothing ever happened. Then we're introduced to the film's antagonist that the directors explicitly said they wanted to become an iconic horror film villain.
After you see Jaws, you're afraid to go swimming. People were, and we really thought that would be neat to kind of create this iconic character, this iconic ghost, so to speak, that would really drive people a little bit nuts whenever they set foot in their school.
Yeah, make you think twice before going into your high school theater anymore.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's a giant fucking hangman carrying a noose with a potato sack on its head. His special power seems to be choosing whether he chokes his victims with visible or invisible rope. So Ryan found the mask the hangman thing is wearing earlier in the film. He just picked it up randomly out of a pile of costumes. So am I meant to think that it's now an actual real person and this is just a slasher film? Is it just someone that put on a costume and is chasing them around the school as a joke? Because the hangman thing has definitely disappeared and reappeared and has definitely choked people invisibly already. Hang on, I thought it was a short drama student that died, not some giant hangman dude. Also, the boy that died didn't die in a hangman suit. Never mind, I guess this is just one of those films that people talk about turning off their brain in order to watch it. I don't understand. It was a small dorky drama student that died, not a giant hulking fucking hangman.
Dude, stop analysing it. Just turn your brain off.
I turned my brain off and now I can't see! Everything's dark! I'm scared! So they're heading through this really confusingly designed school trying to get out by like walking around in windowless basements and shit. They find a television that plays footage of the original play, Spooky. This is an R-rated movie, by the way. And it took 4 years to film. 4 years. So Reese finds out from the blurry video footage playing on the TV without a VHS tape in the video. Never mind. He finds out that his dad was originally playing the dude that got hanged. And this is despite the fact that Reese already had a conversation in the film with his dad about the play he's playing the same character in. Apparently that's the first Reese had heard that his dad was apparently originally going to play the character. And considering a kid died in it instead of him, and no one in town can apparently stop talking about it, you'd think it would have come up during dinner at least one time. By the way, their character names are actually their real names.
My name is Pfeiffer in real life, and I also play a girl named Pfeiffer in the film The Gallows.
Great. Reese?
Yeah, my name's Reese Mischler. I play Reese Hauser in the film.
Ryan Shoes, and I play Ryan Shoes in the film.
I'm Cassidy. I also play Cassidy.
They couldn't even come up with fake names for their characters. That's how creative and original this film is. Still, while they're running down the halls, Reese calls Pfeiffer Cassidy. So Ryan promptly gets hanged by a huge length of rope. Hooray! Cassidy comes soon after. She gets dragged down the hallway, leaving apparently an iconic shoe behind that features in all the promotional shit because it's so iconic and such an icon. Pfeiffer and Reese are left to go around the school trying to find ways out. Reese's phone gets locked in a locker somehow, and the night vision is clearly just terrible grading because Reese's shirt shouldn't be fluoro blue. They see an open door and Reese runs out, but Pfeiffer stops and ends up, like, choking from an invisible noose. A stage light goes on, and then a camera that is set up in the booth turns on and starts recording. We see Ryan's camera in the background, which is apparently a tiny camcorder. Could have sworn movie quality videos don't come from tiny handheld camcorders. And it would have seemed like a heavier camera was placed down in at least this shot. Whatever. So they end up reciting the fucking lines of the play, and somehow Reese realizes what he must do, and like goes and stands on the gallows and puts the fucking noose around his neck. I would have thought that the kid that got hanged would have better targets for revenge than the son of the guy who last minute couldn't do the play that got him to fill in. Totally unaware that the gallows was actually going to malfunction. Or work perfectly because you installed a fucking trapdoor, you absolute incompetent morons. Like, go get revenge against the person who made the fucking gallows fully functional. Anyway, so Ryan's camera is now heaps further back, and it can get this really wide-angled shot that a camcorder that close to the fucking gallows totally wouldn't have been able to do. And it turns out that Pfeiffer was in on this the whole time, and she takes a bow as Reese gets hung hand in hand with the ghost. So clapping comes from the crowd, and then someone stands up, and then the lights go off. But it wasn't immediately clear who it was in the crowd the first time I watched it. But watching it in higher definition, I noticed that it was Pfeiffer's mum, who had mentioned that she was the girlfriend of the guy who originally got hanged. So does that mean that Pfeiffer's dad is a ghost? If the timeline checks out, Pfeiffer's mum was impregnated by a ghost. Then we get another tacked-on ending that seems really terrible and synthetic, where police come into Pfeiffer's house, find her mum just brushing her hair. There's this weird shrine of shit about the Gallows play, which is totally weird and just out of place. The cop's colleague gets hanged in the hallway somehow. Then the hangman ghost kid, but actually a grown man with the costume on, runs at the camera, ending the film on a completely actually original note. I've never seen that before. So when you think about the fact that Pfeiffer the whole time was setting this up with her mum, the whole movie subsequently does not make any sense.
She's not fair. That's that lady from the theater. She was the girlfriend.
Like, why did the hangman open the door if Reese was meant to be hanged? He could have just piss-bolted and left Pfeiffer in there. Why did it take that chance? It didn't really add anything. It didn't make the plan better. It didn't add to the movie at all. Also, what might have added to the beginning was if they had a fucking script. But also, if Pfeiffer had have been pressuring Reese to do the play. Like, it sounded like Reese kind of didn't really care about it and was just doing it to get closer to Pfeiffer. He didn't really learn his lines and wasn't pressured from Pfeiffer to learn them, apparently. They didn't have any extra practices or anything, just Pfeiffer and Reese. He was always just struggling with his lines by himself. It would have been way cooler if they had Pfeiffer being really possessive over Reese learning the lines and doing it properly. And you would have thought that when Cassidy told Pfeiffer that they were there to smash up the set, when they found Pfeiffer somehow in the building, that Pfeiffer would have been way more pissed off since she and her mum had apparently been planning for this and their whole house was dedicated to some shitty high school fucking play. What the fuck? This movie is so terrible. Oh, what am I doing? So that made me think that maybe the whole thing was meant to take place that night, when Ryan and co went to smash the place up. But Pfeiffer definitely didn't know that that's what they were planning, and the whole thing made a lot less sense, seeing as she was trying to help them get out of the place. Anyway, that's about it for this fucking terrible movie. I'm sick of talking about it. Let's never speak of it again. I just wanted to quickly thank everyone who's donated to my Patreon so far. You've been incredibly generous. And that is, hang on, Lauren, Paul, and Ethan. I'm looking at you guys. For those of you who did donate $10, I've messaged you on Patreon. I'm serious about the reward of you guys writing something with me. So please message me back. Unless you don't want to, then I guess I can't force you. I mean, I'm just trying to make some friends here. Like, what do you... All of the money that you've donated goes straight to my channel. And I'm just thanks. It's been overwhelming, basically, how much money you guys are willing to donate.
I tell my friend up, I did what you said, everything's dark, I can't see.
We're now accepting submissions of horror flash fiction under 1,500 words that will feature in a horror fiction podcast on the channel periodically. If you're interested in finding out more, there's a link in the description. Alternatively, if you've got a true paranormal story, we're putting together a segment compiling viewer-submitted ghost stories. Follow the link on the screen to an instructional video detailing how to submit your story.